Hello everyone, and welcome to the Week 11 edition of the Wilkes Journal-Patriots High School Football Rundown presented by Cooks and produced by RiverStreet Productions. I'm sports editor Zach Colburn, and I'm joined as always by assistant sports editor Brandon Moree, who will be with us in just a minute to take a closer look at this week's games. Wilkes County had another good week as they went 2-2 against other Mountain Valley Athletic Conference teams, including a shocking game between Elkin and East Wilkes over in Elkin. Brandon's got more in those games over at the big board.
Thanks, Zach. It was a great night to be at home in the Mountain Valley Athletic Conference as all four of the home teams picked up big wins in the Mountain Valley Athletic Conference Friday night, including those guys, the Wilkes Central Eagles. That's Josiah Ferguson. He had missed the last two games with injuries, but he was back in a major way on Friday night. He had 5 catches for 196 yards, and he scored 3 touchdowns. 2 from Camden Wyatt and 1 from Skylar Brooks, which we will see in just a little while. That's Tyler Bowles. He had another big game on the ground, 170 rushing yards on just 12 carries. He is over 1,200 rushing yards on the season. And that's Josiah again for another one of his touchdown catches. What a great game he had for the Eagles. He also had 1 carry for 5 yards to put him over 200 total all-purpose yards in the game. Camden Wyatt went 11 for 17. For 215 yards, he was picked off, but that's the first time he's been intercepted all season long. As the Eagles rolled to 8-2, as they picked up a 48-13 win. Okay, across town in Hayes, North Wilkes was hosting a short-handed Allegheny squad, and they rolled 50-0. That's Jarrett Grimes. He had another big game. He had more than 260 yards for him. He's having a tremendous year, just 15 yards shy of 2,000 yards on the year. That's Grant Linderman. He's been the B-back this year, but he looked like the star on that play right there. He had just 2 carries, but they both ended up in the end zone, and he finished with 105 yards. And what a throw from Ethan Brown to Cameron Walsh there. What a great connection for those two guys. A big win for the Vikings. They are 7-3 now on the season. Jarrett Grimes, 273 yards. 3 touchdowns. You see Linderman's stats there. Ethan Brown was 4 for 6 for 137 yards through the air. He also scored on the ground. And Cameron Walsh finished with 97 yards, including that big long touchdown catch that we saw. Okay, the big news out of the conference on Friday night was that East Wilkes was upset, shockingly, by the Bucking Elks in Elkin. Freshman kicker Brady Shugart hit a 23-yarder as time expired. Elkin took over on their own 5-yard line with 1.5 minutes to play. They drove down the field, got into Sugart's range, and he split the uprights for a 53-52 win. First loss of the season for the Cardinals. They were without running back Damian Reed, but you can see there Devin Couch had a big game in his absence. 16 carries for 247 yards and 3 scores on the ground. He also had a catch for 11 yards. Jared Wood had 3 catches, 56 yards. Mason Hartley went over 140 yards on the ground as well. And up in West Jefferson, West Wilkes faced the Ashe County Huskies, and they fell 42-14 as the Huskies pulled away late. Luke Hudler went 20 for 30 for 259 yards and a touchdown. He also had a touchdown on the ground. For the Blackhawks, Alex Ortiz had 86 yards rushing, and that puts him over 1,000 on the season. A tough loss, but he's having a good year for the Blackhawks this season. All right, that's going to do it for our stats and highlights. Let's take a look at the RiverStreet Productions Play of the Week. We're going back to Moravian Falls. Here's that play I was talking about. Bowles takes the snap. He flips it to Skylar Brooks. Skylar Brooks throws a bomb that's a little bit underthrown, but Josiah snatches that ball right away from Trey DeZern and finds his way into the end zone. What a great play for those guys and a big win. They are now alone in first place, undefeated in the conference. Zach, back to you.
Thanks, Brandon. Well, 11 weeks of high school football action have come down to just 48 minutes to determine who will win the Mountain Valley Athletic Conference Championship, as Wilkes Central and East Wilkes will face off in Ronda on Friday night. If Wilkes Central wins, they'll earn an outright conference championship for the 2nd year in a row. An East Wilkes win means that they'll share the conference championship. But over on the other side of the county, West Wilkes will host North Wilkes, looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. And you can follow all of that action over at our Instagram and Twitter handles at WJP_sports. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook as well. This has been the Week 11 edition of the Wilkes Journal-Patriots High School Football Rundown presented by Cooks. We'll see you on Friday night.